One of the hardest parts of breaking into the commercial real estate industry is deciding where that entry point should be and figuring out the best place to start out based on where you ultimately want to end up. What you do and where you work in your first few years out of college or graduate school can have a big impact on your career trajectory over the long term, so taking the time up front to step back and be intentional about the first job you decide to pursue can do a lot to set you up for success in the industry many years into the future. And while one of the best things about the real estate business is the sheer amount of options you have as far as where you can take your career, this can also cause some pretty serious analysis paralysis when you're trying to decide on the optimal path to take. So to help you zero in on the parts of the business and the specific job disciplines that you might want to focus on based on both what you want to be doing right now and also what your end game ultimately looks like, in this video, let's talk through 4 of the most common entry-level roles in the real estate industry, what you might be doing in each, and which path might be best for you if you're just getting started in the business. So let's start out this list with what tends to be one of the most commonly posted commercial real estate jobs on sites like LinkedIn and Indeed, and this is a commercial real estate sales agent role. These are usually 100% commission, production-based positions at companies like Marcus & Millichap and smaller local brokerage firms with a heavy focus on sales training and prospecting, mostly centered around winning listings on smaller properties with local owners, usually in the $2 to $10 million range. These types of positions, specifically at Marcus & Millichap, are known throughout the industry to have extremely strong sales training programs, and because these are commission-based roles, there's also no cap on your income from day one on the job. However, with that unlimited upside also comes the fact that you're effectively working for free when you first start out, and with most new agents having very little or no experience at all in the industry beforehand, it's not uncommon to make very little or no money at all in your first 12 to 18 months or more on the job. And even though the sales training at these companies tends to be some of the best in the industry, training on the analytics and underwriting of commercial real estate is pretty much non-existent in almost all 100% commission-based roles. So if you think you might want to transition into an acquisitions or asset management position in the future, or your goal is to learn how to analyze your own deals to build your personal real estate portfolio, these types of positions can end up leaving some pretty big gaps in your skill set. Ultimately, if you consider yourself a natural salesperson, you don't have aspirations to work for an institution, you aren't interested in the analytics of commercial real estate, and you don't want a ceiling on your income at any stage of your career, this type of a position could be a great place to start. Now, if the idea of brokerage sounds good to you, but you also want to learn the analytics of the business, you want to work on bigger deals, and you want to get paid a livable wage in your first few years in the industry, an analyst role at a brokerage firm could be a much better fit for what you're looking to do. These are investment sales analyst, capital markets analyst, or debt and equity placement analyst roles at companies like CBRE, JLL, Cushman & Wakefield, or Eastdil, where you're working on the sale or the financing of 8- and 9-figure commercial real estate assets, often on behalf of major institutions and private equity firms, and you're supporting a team of experienced producers in an analytical capacity almost exclusively. Brokerage analyst roles will often require you to work the hardest and the longest hours of any entry-level role in commercial real estate, but you'll also generally learn the most in the shortest period of time, and if you're able to join a high-producing team, you'll usually out-earn the majority of your peers within the industry, even those working on the principal side of the business at major private equity firms. These types of roles are great for people who think that brokerage might be for them, but they also want to make sure they're maximizing their exit opportunities in case brokerage doesn't end up being the right fit. And these jobs really offer a sweet spot between building a network and learning the underwriting and analysis process at a very high level, which can give you a ton of optionality when you're ready to move on. If you decide after a few years as an analyst that you want to move into production and stay on the brokerage path, you've already seen it done successfully within your team, and you've likely been planting seeds with potential clients for an extended period of time. And if you decide that you want to move on to the principal side of the business into an acquisitions or asset management role in the future, you've likely already built strong relationships with your clients and you've been able to showcase your work to multiple private equity firms and institutions over an extended period of time. The key takeaway here is that if you're willing to work long hours, you're not quite sure if brokerage is right for you, you want to maximize your earning potential in the first few years of your career, and you want to learn the underwriting and analysis process at the highest levels of the industry, an analyst role in brokerage could be a great option for you to pursue. Now, if you know right now that brokerage isn't for you and you know you want to work in real estate private equity long term with an ultimate goal to become the chief investment officer or even the CEO of a major institution, the best place to start out to make something like this happen is on the principal side of the business at an investment management firm. These are positions at firms like Blackstone, Brookfield, Starwood, or any other company that would make the PERE 100 list, where you're working on some of the biggest transactions in the industry, including individual assets valued at hundreds of millions of dollars, major portfolio acquisitions of 20 to 30 properties or more in multiple different locations, or even the acquisition of entire operating companies and their portfolio of real estate to go along with it. If your goal is to progress into a leadership position at a major institution, your best chance of getting there is to start out at a major institution in the first place, since these types of organizations tend to look for a certain pedigree, and brand names on a resume are highly valued at these shops. These roles will generally involve long hours, but also usually offer relatively high salaries and bonus structures that can get significantly bigger as you progress within the company. And if you decide you want to jump ship and move to a smaller organization in the future, the experience and the track record that you will have built will usually allow you to come in at a much higher level of seniority when you're ready to make the move. The key takeaway here is that if you want to build a career within the institutional sector specifically, you want to work on high-profile, high-value commercial real estate deals, you want to make great money with significant long-term upside, and you're willing to put in long hours in the office for an indefinite period of time to make that happen, targeting jobs at major institutions could be a great goal to pursue. Now, if you know that brokerage isn't for you and you have no aspirations to climb the corporate ladder and your long-term goal is to be able to buy your own deals and build your own portfolio, my recommendation would be the final path on this list, which is working on the principal side of the business for a small to mid-sized investment or development firm in an acquisitions or asset management role. Working for a smaller shop with anywhere from about 5 to 25 people on staff can give you great hands-on experience and will usually get you involved with all aspects of the life cycle of a deal, even those that fall outside of your individual job description. This means that you'll usually have the opportunity to touch every aspect of the business and see the inner workings of the company's operations, including things like deal sourcing, contract negotiation, due diligence, asset management, construction management, leasing, and even investor relations. If you know what kind of deals you want to be doing, where you want to be doing those deals, and the size of the properties you're going to be pursuing, finding a small company that's doing what you want to be doing in the future and going to work for that company to learn the business from a group that's already doing this successfully can be one of the best ways to build the skill sets you'll need to make that happen and significantly reduce risk along the way. Now, one notable downside of these types of roles is that since these companies are relatively small and usually in their early stages of growth, you'll tend to see lower compensation packages in these types of positions with a base salary and bonus that usually isn't anything to write home about, but the skills you'll learn in these types of positions are incredibly valuable long term and in many cases will far outweigh any sort of compensation you may have had to forgo by not choosing another route. And even if you're not 100% sure you want to build your own company in the future, these types of firms also tend to reward high performers very quickly since there's inherently less red tape and bureaucracy preventing someone from being promoted or highly compensated early on in their career. So even if you don't decide to strike out on your own in the future, there's usually quite a bit of upside to be had if you decide to grow your career within a smaller organization. Ultimately, if you know you want to build your own portfolio in the future, you don't do well in corporate environments, you want to get paid to learn in an entrepreneurial setting, and you don't mind being slightly underpaid to make that happen, working for a smaller firm that's already doing what you want to be doing long term can be a great place to start your career. So I hope this was helpful if you're trying to decide where you want to start out in the business, and if you want to make sure you're prepared for the application and interview process at commercial real estate firms, or if you want some more help and guidance with your own unique situation. As always, make sure to check out our all-in-one membership training platform, Break Into CRE Academy. A membership to the Academy will give you instant access to over 120 hours of video training on real estate financial modeling and analysis. You'll get access to hundreds of practice Excel interview exam questions, sample acquisition case studies, our entire library of pre-built acquisition, development, and waterfall models for multifamily, industrial, office, retail, and mixed-use deals, and you'll also get access to private one-on-one email-based career coaching if you're looking to break into the industry and want some additional guidance and feedback along the way. And if you like this video and want to see more content on this channel on commercial real estate jobs and the different career paths in the industry, make sure to hit the like button to let me know, and let me know in the comments what part of the industry you're shooting for and why you're choosing that path. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see more videos like this every single week, and I'll see you in the next video.